close friend, but she sort of gave up suddenly. She was 6 to 8 months into like a vegan diet,
Yep.
and then she's given up. If you're vegetarian, the only source you're going to be at that point was like going to be eggs at least. So at least start having eggs.
In the future, people will look back and be like, I can't believe we ate meat and dairy for as long as we did. And
That's interesting. I haven't heard of that before.
Look, you've been vegetarian for all your life, right?
Yeah.
Is it like a religious reason, or like your whole family is vegetarian? Or?
That's right. Yeah. So it started because of religious reason. My entire family doesn't eat at all. So all my life when I was at home, we never had meat. But then once I moved out, then it was on me to whether eat it or not. And they are sort of quite open in that sense that they wouldn't mind if I started eating at all. So the religious reason after a while was gone.
Yep.
But then I never felt like, because didn't have the curiosity, first of all, and then secondly, I was just happy with and there's always like vegetarian options around, even in Sydney or Adelaide or Melbourne.
Have you ever tasted meat before? You know what it tastes like?
I did once, actually.
Yeah.
Wasn't a conscious decision though. It was my friends just fooling around.
Yep.
And yeah, so that was quite interesting.
Wait, so they knew that it was meat and they gave it to you, or?
Sort of, yeah.
That's crazy.
I know. I hate it. But it was like, I think we all were in sort of a party mood as well. And I just had like a first bite and I realized there was something different. Like the texture was different than a normal paneer texture. It was like a pizza, chicken pizza. Pizza with like a toppings of chicken.
Have you had a chicken pizza before?
That was the first and last time I had
pizza.
it.
So it was a chicken pizza.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I hated them after a while.
Shit.
But
and then you liked it, and then you started eating meat every day?
No. That never happened. So I had it, and then it was all right. That was it afterwards, and then it's not like I hated it at that point, but just never felt like afterwards.
No, fair enough, man. But it's good that you've been vegetarian your entire life. Your family is also fully vegetarian. They've been vegetarian your whole lives, right?
Yeah. And same with my uncle, auntie over here. They've been here for like last 15 years, 16 years, and they don't eat it either.
Damn. Apart from me, do you know any other vegans? Like anyone else have you ever met another vegan before?
I think you.
Like
were the only
apart
one
from
person.
me.
Nah.
So you don't know anyone else who is?
Not in my like friend circle for sure.
In India, no one like.
Vegan? Vegetarian, I know a lot of people.
Vegetarian, but like vegan. Out of
vegan,
people,
no.
All the friends you know in Mumbai. Probably one of them should be.
No.
Damn.
No. It's very.
That's crazy.
That's for sure. Yeah. I don't know why. Yeah. You're probably the only one I know.
So you hadn't heard of? Did you know what veganism was before you met me? Like, before I became vegan?
Yeah, sort of. Like I knew what veganism meant in general. Nothing that's usually consumed or used in general.
Yeah.
That is an animal product. If I'm not wrong, that's what the definition is, and not just like eating, even also consuming in any other form as well, or using it. And I like it. Honestly, I'm still open to an idea of you going from vegetarian to vegan.
Yep.
But the only thing is like I love having just like milk, for example, and that's the only. I guess that's the strawman argument non-vegetarians also have against vegetarian. They love eating meat, and then it's just hard to get off.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
No, I think I agree. Like for vegetarians, I know a lot of vegetarians, and sometimes I think like it's easier for them to become vegan, right? Because they've never tasted meat. Most of them, they don't know what meat tastes like. They're not interested in meat.
Yeah.
But it's still really hard because they're so attached to milk and even things like cheese
Mm.
is a big thing for a lot of people. A lot of
Right.
people, even me, I loved cheese. Even though I was lactose intolerant,
Yeah.
I still loved cheese. Milk, not that much.
Right.
Every now and then I'd have milk. But things like, especially cheese was the biggest thing for me in dairy product.
Ah.
It's always hard to
That
let
must
go
be, yeah,
of
really
cheese.
hard, I was gonna say.
So apart from, what do you, in your everyday life, what do you
Yeah.
eat that's milk, that derived from milk, apart from milk?
Paneer.
Paneer? Yeah.
Nowadays that I'm getting into fitness a lot more,
Yep.
paneer sort of is one of the prime sources of protein.
Yep.
And whey protein as well in general.
Yep.
And apart from that, nothing much, I guess. That's
Mm.
probably it. That's milk. But like I love hot chocolates.
Hot
for
chocolate.
Example, so,
That's right. Yeah.
but that's again, yeah, just pure milk and
Even the other day we had hot chocolate, and that's the first time I've had hot chocolate from like a drive-through like that. I've never had hot chocolate
Really?
like that before. Yeah.
oh, that's
That's-
quite. We have it very often, and
Damn.
we should.
Why not coffee? Why hot chocolate?
I used to be a coffee addict before,
Yep.
a couple of years before, and then there was a point where I had to sort of control myself, and then I stopped. Now
Yeah.
I've just given it up completely. So it's sort of a replacement for coffee, to be
Okay.
honest. And so far it's good. I love it.
Yeah.
It's funny when you go on dates or something, and then they'll be like, "Do you want to have coffee?" And then
Yeah.
you'll say, "Oh, have hot chocolates." And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Fuck."
Yeah, that's like me going on a date to a bar, and they're like, "What do you want to drink?"
Yeah.
Coke Zero. Dude, once I was in a bar and I went with a friend,
Yeah.
and they, I was hoping to get Red Bull, like sugar-free Red Bull.
Yeah.
Apparently bars don't sell Red Bull. I didn't know that. I thought they
Why
would.
not?
Yeah, that's what I thought. Like clubs
it-
and stuff would have them, but
Oh, that's
yeah,
a shame.
it's a shame. And then like
So
they
you
felt,
just have
they
Coke,
felt
normal
so
Coke.
bad that they gave me like Coke Zero for free. They're like, no one's
For
ever
free?
asked. They're like, no one's ever asked us for Red Bull before. I thought
There
it'd be
you
more
go.
common.
Take your sympathy as well.
Yeah. That's what I had it. But no, I get that. So apart from hot chocolate, what else? Like cheese, yeah, paneer. Do you eat a lot of cheese?
Cheese for sure, but not daily.
Yeah.
It's if you're having like a toast,
Yeah.
then maybe you'll have it like a Subway.
Subway, yeah.
That's probably it. Yeah, like a pizza topping.
What have you, so far right now, what's stopping you from becoming vegan at this point in time?
The only thing that sort of bothers me is I need to have some sort of like I need to first of all have my daily goals, right? So which are like just macros, and a lot of that, as I said, is either like me having milk and basic like hot chocolate, paneer,
Yeah.
and all of that. So if I get rid of that, how am I gonna, reach my goals? That is the
Yep.
only thing that sort of, even though I say I love hot chocolate,
Yeah.
I'm sort of willing to give it up.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, if I strongly believe in the core, philosophy of veganism.
Yeah.
Once I start doing it, I think that can take over. But then the question is going to be how do I fulfill my macros for the day?
Yeah. So obviously for you it's more of a calories thing. You want to make sure that you are eating enough calories.
Yeah. Looking from a fitness sort of
Yeah.
perspective. And the other aspect would be if I'm traveling around a lot, let's say for auditions and places, nowadays there's a lot more, I think,
Yeah.
heaps of places around which give you vegan food.
That's right. Yeah.
But it's just hard, like even still it is a bit hard, I would say. Even for a vegetarian
Yeah.
myself, it's a bit hard. There's only usually like one dish.
Hmm.
But now it's growing.
Yeah.
It's a lot more. Like we went yesterday to a vegan
Loving
place.
Heart. Yeah.
Yeah, that was nice. That was good.
That's what, like that's actually true. One of what you said about the calories thing, it's underlooked a lot when people become vegan. When people become a vegan from eating meat or from being vegetarian, a lot of the times they don't eat enough food, as much food as they need, as they have to.
Yeah.
and then they develop, nutrition disorder, like, what do you call it? Like, they'll be lacking in nutrients because they're not consuming enough calories.
Right.
They're not losing a lot of weight,
Right.
and that's the biggest drive for them to give up being vegan, because they think that being vegan, they're not getting in what they need.
Yep.
That's why the main thing to believe in is replace, don't remove. A lot of people, when they go vegan, they just remove all of the non-vegan foods from their diet.
Right.
If they eat meat, they'll just remove meat from their food.
Oh.
They'll
yeah,
remove milk
okay.
from their food.
Right.
They'll remove
Right.
like any sort of
And
dairy
then that's
product.
just gonna affect.
Yeah,
everything.
and what the best thing to do, the
Yeah.
right thing to do, is replace. So don't remove it, replace it. Replace chicken with chickpeas.
Right.
Replace milk with oat milk or soy milk or almond milk.
Got it.
Replacing those calories.
Yeah.
Because that's why a lot of people don't end up eating as much, because they think, oh, if I can't eat meat, if I can't eat this, then I can't eat anything.
Yeah.
They want to remove, always replace it with something.
Got it.
And that's, before you know it, you're eating the same amount of calories by just replacing it.
Yeah. That's an interesting. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So make sure that you still, sort of complete your daily goals. And that could be true though. Like I have known one friend of, not like close friend, but she sort of gave up suddenly. She was 6 to 8 months into a vegan diet.
Yep.
And then she's given up recently.
Do you know why she gave up?
I don't know, but maybe that could be one of the reasons. I don't know if someone's getting slimmer day by day, then not feeling energetic.
Yep.
I'm guessing. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
There's, I think, the other question could be if people are like the vegan options sometimes could be a bit more costly.
Yep.
And some people are sort of not willing to go that side. What do you think about that?
So when you say like
replacements, like the vegan replacements of any of them, tend to be a bit more expensive.
What so what do you normally? So where do you get most of your calories from? Milk. You said milk. What was the other thing?
Soybean milk, rice, dal.
Okay, so would you say dairy product mainly is milk? Do you eat much cheese at all?
No, not much.
So it's just milk. And
milk
eggs,
and paneer.
right? You eat
paneer.
eggs as well?
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah.
That's right.
So I should have mentioned it before. When I say vegetarian,
Yeah.
that also includes eggs in my vegetarian.
Do you eat eggs just for the protein? Or
100%, yes. 100% just for the protein.
You eat eggs just for the protein, okay. And so it's just eggs and milk is your main sources of calories.
Yeah.
You get most of your calories from. That's non-vegan.
That's right. Because I used to play cricket before, and then my coach sort of recommended me when I was very early on, 15 years, 16 years before, that if you're vegetarian, the only source you're going to be at that point was like going to be eggs at least. So at least start having eggs.
Yeah. So before then you didn't eat eggs?
No.
So your family doesn't eat eggs?
No.
Oh,
and then we literally started because of lack of...
they started? Or so your family now eats eggs?
Yeah. So my dad started making eggs for me. Just so that...
protein.
Yeah, I hit the protein goal for the day.
Yeah.
And and then they started as a result. But I don't think so they make it anymore.
Oh, so they don't eat eggs?
No.
Okay. So milk and eggs is your main source of protein. I think, and paneer as well. How do you eat paneer often?
Yeah, paneer for sure. I would say paneer is sort of one of the primary sources because because that's like you can have it a lot, and like milk you can't really have a lot of it every day, and it depends on how much protein it gives like per serving.
Yeah, so paneer as well.
Yeah.
So paneer, milk, and eggs. Yeah. I feel like I'm listing it out for you. Anything else that you think that you eat a lot? That's not. You eat yogurt a lot?
Yeah. No. Yogurt as well.
I'm telling you what you eat.
Well, clearly I'm not into my fitness journey properly.
Okay, so yogurt, milk,
I do.
Eggs.
Yogurt. Oh, actually, yogurt's one of my favorite though. Now that I
think about it, right? Anything else that
I've literally throughout my childhood, my grandmom used to have like 1 cup of yogurt ready for me every day. So I used to have like my lunch would definitely have half a cup at least of yogurt.
Yogurt. Okay, so yogurt, milk, eggs, paneer.
Yeah,
So that's where you would, in your everyday, that's where you get most of your calories from.
that's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried drinking milk alternatives before? Like soy milk or oat milk?
Oat milk, I have tried once. Yes.
Yeah. Do you remember which one it was?
Like which brand?
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
Where
It
was
was
this?
from Coles. So
Oh, so you
one of
just
the
bought
Coles.
oat milk. Okay.
Yeah.
What did you use it? What did you make it with it?
Oh, I was just once instead of like morning hot chocolate or any. Yeah, I think instead of morning hot chocolate, I just had it with.
How was it?
It was a bit heavy.
Yeah.
For sure.
Mm.
And yeah, that was probably it. It was definitely a bit heavier on the.
Yeah.
And that's probably it. I didn't.
Do you know how many calories you should be, like what you think you're eating right now? Like,
I should be eating.
no, how much you are eating right now?
Well, I don't track it.
Back in
daily.
Adelaide, like a day, like roughly.
Has to be around 2,400 to 500 maybe.
Okay, yeah. I think that's pretty.
Yeah. But
realistic.
that's not consistent. Obviously, it's
Yeah,
100 to maybe 200 calories up plus minus.
yeah.
Um,
I would say with something like milk, let's talk about milk, because I told you that for you the best right thing to do for you is to lose weight and to get shredded first.
Yeah.
Get under 15% body fat or at 15% body fat, and then start building on top of that. Right? And one thing I think you should do straight away is replace milk, not with oat milk, because oat milk, like you said, is heavy. If you look at the calories, sometimes some brands have more calories than normal milk.
Yeah.
Because most of it is just carbs. It's not even protein. It's just carbs. Most of the calories are coming from carbs.
Right. Yeah.
It's made with oats.
Yeah.
I would say something like almond milk,
Yeah.
which is 40 calories. It's nothing. It's just like, it's pretty plain. Or light soy milk.
Got it.
I like light soy milk because it has protein in it. It has the same protein as milk. It has the same nutrients as milk. So you're getting in whatever milk has. So almond milk or soy milk. Because the main thing you should do right now is find ways of cutting your calories.
Right.
That's by replacing foods.
Yep.
You may think that you're skinny, you
Yep.
need to build muscle.
Yep.
No, you should get leaner first. You should clean up your diet first
Oh wow. Okay.
before you start bulking.
That's interesting.
The reason being is, like I told you yesterday, you're around 20% body fat.
Yeah.
You're skinny and your fat's distributed in such a way that it doesn't, like you may not think that, you think you're a lot lower, but you have a lot of fat on you. No, I mean, compared to some people, but like,
Yeah.
I'm just comparing it to your best
But
self.
yeah.
You have body fat on you that you need to lose
Right.
before you can start building on your physique.
Got
So I
it.
think one way of doing that is by cutting calories, switching milk for oat milk. Yogurt is also a heavy source of calories.
Yeah.
But I understand that, if yogurt is hard for a lot of people to give up because it's hard to find a good replacement, a
Yeah.
vegan replacement for yogurt.
Yeah.
But I would say still, that's why I brought up soy yogurt. Soy yogurt is made from soy, same as milk. Milk is made from dairy. Soy yogurt is made from soy milk. Has the same protein as normal yogurt.
But less carbs.
Yeah, less carbs, less fat. Because most of the calories in yogurt comes from fat and protein. So soy
Right.
yogurt is pretty similar. It's pretty much the same
Yeah.
as yogurt. I would look, and this wasn't there before. This is a new thing. Greek style yogurt.
Yeah.
They've started making it vegan recently, from very recently.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that.
And I've
I didn't
tried
know that.
coconut yogurt. I've tried like different oat yogurt, and I didn't like it. The taste is weird. I know what.
See, yeah, that's when it gets harder as well.
I know
Like,
what
you
it
are-
tastes like. I know what
Yeah.
yogurt tastes like.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not gonna bullshit saying that vegan yogurt tastes exactly like dairy yogurt.
Yeah.
But soy yogurt is the closest thing that I've had
Right.
to normal yogurt, and I
Normal.
like the taste of soy yogurt. So let's say milk. Replace it with a lighter calorie milk like almond milk,
Almond milk.
and then yogurt.
With
I would
a-
say replace it with something like soy yogurt.
Right. So
But-
that sort of is like you're making sure that you're not having too many carbs. which are not sort of needed at this point for me, and also you're making sure that the taste is still the same.
Yep, taste is still the same. And the thing with vegan food is it's high volume. So obviously not things like soy milk and that yogurt, that would be the same. But why I tell you to switch to a more whole foods plant-based diet, especially, I mean, regarding all the ethical argument, because ethics is the most important part. The moral issues around how the dairy industry functions, how the meat industry functions, that is the main thing. But I'm just leaving that aside and talking about the health aspect.
Sure.
Because I think for a lot of people, they know about the ethical part of it, and that should be the only reason to convince you.
Yep.
But I'm just talking for the sake of it, the health reasons part of it. This is just a disclaimer.
Yeah.
But
Makes sense.
Yeah, from a health perspective, a whole foods plant-based diet, according to the latest science, is the healthiest diet on this planet. It It fills you up. It's high volume. So things like chickpeas, lentils, dal, they fill you up.
Yeah.
But the calories aren't that high. Low caloric density. If that makes sense. That's why it's so easy to cut down, cut weight, and even just feel fuller. But it's also a bad thing because a lot of people don't end up eating as much because they feel fuller. They feel full really fast.
Yeah.
Because it is a lot of food. But on the bright side, like you feel like you're eating a lot more food. You're eating a lot more healthier food, a lot more fiber.
Right, that's interesting. That's like sort of the same argument where like people prefer protein shakes over like other meat, right? Because protein shakes doesn't make like with mixed with milk or water, doesn't make you as full. So you can have lots of calories, like 1,000 calories within the protein shake. Yeah.
I think that's one thing I would say if you're trying to get in calories. Making a shake or smoothie. It's just that's what I recommend as well. Making a smoothie with lots of peanut butter. If you want to get in a lot of calories, peanut butter
is the one.
Is a bomb. Like it's your best friend.
Yeah.
Like one big tablespoon has like 200 calories.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot of calories.
I've tried that recently and it works wonders.
You put on, it's a lot of calories.
And I have actually put on weight as a result of it.
Yeah.
I had like oats, banana, honey, peanut butter, and my usual whey protein.
Yeah.
And
that's a lot of calories.
Yeah.
That is a lot of calories. But yeah, so that's also another way of getting in a lot of calories. But for you,
I need to cut it.
You need to cut calories. You need to find ways of cutting calories. So we've figured out, how you would replace your foods. And when it comes to even things like, pretty much what else was there that you get your calories from that's not?
I've had, I mean, sometimes I would just have food from outside if I'm quite lazy to cook, which would be some sort of Mexican wrap or like a burrito bowl. And I like that because it's not like that much fried. I know it's not super healthy either, but at least it fills you up and it's just vegetables on it. Like a Subway. But Subway I'm sort of tired of for now, so just try different Mexican foods.
Okay.
That sort of sometime is my
Mexican when you eat out. Mexican food is amazing. I mean for vegan options because it's just rice and beans. And with GYG you can now get vegan cheese, which is amazing.
Oh, can you? Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah. There's like mushrooms in it as well, I guess. Which is good. And the other ones is like weekend might be usually like an Indian food will be proper, like a naan and paneer butter masala or something like that. If I'm going out or to my uncle's place, if they're making something like that. So that's not super healthy, but I think once a week or something. I tend to have something like that.
Something like that. Paneer.
I don't know if it's that super healthy, but I just have it regardless, just because it makes me feel nicer sometimes.
For sure. No, I get it. Paneer is also like a big thing for a lot of people. But I guess at that point it comes down to, even with milk, I talked about the health aspects, even cutting calories. But it comes down to the main reason why do you think people become vegan?
Oh, that's an interesting one. I feel like they believe in the they believe in they believe strongly in not harming animals to have our food on the table, sort of
Yeah.
like, and they've seen the dark side of it a lot more closer and probably are more aware of it.
Yeah.
We all tend to ignore a lot of those sides sometimes and just like in different forms of harm. And I think that's what it is. At least that's what I believe. One would have to strongly believe in the philosophy of it
Yeah.
to go vegan. I knew a friend.
Yeah.
She is vegetarian.
Yeah.
I said I knew as in like she's gone to a different country now. So one of my friends was having like a chicken burger.
Yeah.
And she's a vegetarian, and she has seen heard of a lot of stories of animal cruelty that happens to get all those, the meat that lands on your table in a restaurant. And she started crying out, like she was very emotional when he was sort of, eating at that point, because she's like, have you not heard all of this? Have you not seen any of it? And if you have, how do you still see it and eat it? To that friend of mine. I personally have, I have heard stories, and I think there is a sense of like, that ethics, that morality argument, for sure, runs in my mind, but I haven't made a stronger decision on either side.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of happy in my zone where I'm not going to. But that's the things I have heard so far.
So obviously you know about what happens in the dairy industry farms. Is that what your friend told you about, or is it the meat ones?
Not much. Yeah, not much about the dairy one. I know a lot about meat.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Meat is obviously one argument that I would make, and I make this. I was shocked to find out. I would say with full certainty that I think the dairy. And I've said this before in videos before. Dairy industry is worse than the meat industry. The dairy industry is worse than the meat industry. And someone, I was watching this thing, and someone made this fact, this point, and I thought it was a really good point, that you know how Indians normally don't eat beef. It's because we have a certain respect for cows, and it's just against our culture, as Hindus' culture, to not eat beef, as a sign of respect to cows. We don't want to kill cows. And people who eat beef are looked down upon. Not just looked down upon, but like it's, you know how it is in India, like people, like the whole beef ban and all of that, the political dynamics. In a year period, 1 year, if there was someone else who ate beef for an entire year, sitting next to you, just beef, that was like his main source of meat, beef, and you're a vegetarian, you drink milk. In a year's time, it was you versus him, you would have killed more cows to drink the milk that you drank than he would have killed cows to eat the meat that he ate. The reason being is, in the dairy industry, as soon as the cows' lives, like the mothers' lives are very short, because as soon as they can't get pregnant anymore, they're killed for meat. As soon as they have a baby boy, they give birth to a baby boy, killed for meat, because they're useless in the dairy industry. If you can't give milk, kill it straight away for meat. Because letting it grow is against, they're losing money, giving it resources, letting it feed, because it's easier, like most of the meat that you buy, young cows. They're not old cows, they're killed as soon as they're born.
Damn.
Baby cows. That's where most of the meat comes from. But because baby cows are killed, mothers, as soon as they can't produce milk anymore, they're shot and killed for meat. Dairy industry and the meat industry work hand in hand with each other. And that's why I say that the dairy industry is worse than the meat industry, because people who drink just milk kill more cows in the process to make in the process of making that milk.
Mm.
And I feel like a lot of people, I used to do this. I used to hear this. I used to know about this before I was a vegan.
Mm.
And I used to be like, it is what it is. Like there has to be torture in the world. There has to be, but I was too in my ways. I was like, I like cheese too much.
Mm.
Like what's gonna happen if I give up?
Your
Someone else,
desires, yeah.
someone else will just eat it for me.
Mm.
It's not gonna make any difference.
Mm.
If I don't buy that cheese, someone else will buy it.
Mm.
And if I don't buy that milk, someone else will buy it. Even if it's at home, if I don't eat it, then it will just go to waste.
Yeah.
Might as well just finish it off.
Mm.
That's when I realized the power of, especially now, 4 years into it, it's so like the dairy industry and the meat industry function the way it does because of demand. We're paying for it to happen. And that when I found out that every time I paid for meat, every time I paid for dairy, milk, I was paying for that to happen.
Yeah.
And you know what? Like the documentary that made me vegan, I couldn't even watch it. I watched a few minutes of it and I couldn't finish it. Right? That's how fucked it was. And if I couldn't even watch it, then why would I pay for it to happen?
That's for sure.
So that's where the main ethical and moral reason comes from.
Right. What do you think about arguments that come against this? Which is, what if there's there's this opinion that the entire vegan industry in general runs on this exactly, which is sort of letting people know, sure, like making people aware, that's fine.
Yeah.
But then sometimes it sort of is, on your face sort of movement,
Yeah.
which then people start sort of, doubting it, whether what is the right intention. And then the right intention sometimes, then there's speculations of it, that the entire other industry of vegan industry itself is run based on this fear of, you're killing people or you're killing animals. There's that fear that is, and what do you think about that?
I think
it's like an alternate industry setup as a result of that.
People who do face-to-face activism,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
people stand on the streets. When I wasn't vegan, I used to think the same way. Like, they're just annoying people. People don't want to see these things as they're walking to work, or as they're walking across, just shopping. Innocent people, little kids, seeing these images. They would hold up iPads. No one should see that. No one should see those images. That's how I thought, because it's disgusting. You're scarring these people. But I think it's important. Activism works in all sorts of ways, right? For me, what worked for me. I used to see these people and I used to think, bloody vegans, like they're just in your face, like they have an agenda.
I don't know if you heard, there was like a recent thing that happened in UK, I guess. Few vegan activists, they sort of went into like restaurants and then took their dishes or something of people having meat. And then there was a lot of outrage against that happened, which is let people live sort of peacefully. And then that sort of defeats the entire, the philosophy
100%.
behind which should
dumb.
be
That's dumb. Because you're not going to change any minds doing that.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of people out there as well, online, like vegans who are just extreme.
Yeah.
A bit too extreme.
Yeah.
They use hatred to spread the message.
Yeah.
I'm all about, the way I look at it is all about education. Because I was there. I was on the other side of that. And I used to see these things and I used to live in ignorance. But the thing that I learned recently is different things work for different people. What worked for me is I used to look at Earthling Ed videos, Joy Carpstrong. These are people that came up on my YouTube.
Yeah.
And they do it's like debate, like they would talk to people. It was like a friendly debate. Earthling Ed, he just talks to people, has a conversation. So it was like a peaceful way. He would just educate them on how this industry functions. That's what made me go vegan. But for some people, it's the face-to-face activism. But in the end, what both of that's doing is education. Maybe it is a shock to some people, it's fear. But at the same time, they have to understand that they are paying for this.
Right.
Because the way the meat industry works, they're very clever and very smart in hiding how the meat production side of it
Yeah.
from the public.
Right.
And
The
for the
production
public,
side. Yeah.
what they don't know is they don't have to worry about it.
Right.
And by showing them that this is actually what's happening, it gets people to start thinking. Maybe not go vegan straight away. I mean, it's very hard for people to go vegan straight away, seeing someone on the street. But then they'll be like, I saw this today. It really disturbed me. Maybe they'll look into like Google it. You know, like what is the meat industry?
But
And then that's where the journey starts.
Do you sort of believe in that sort of mode of the medium of, putting forward your ideology? I would have thought it would have been if it's much more nicer, like for example, like this, right? Where you're sharing thoughts when you're debating it, which sort of makes a deeper impact compared to going on to someone else's, while someone's having a dinner. Like,
See, that's wrong. Like going into someone's restaurant, because the main thing there is those are innocent people, and they're innocent people. And like I don't blame people who don't know about the meat industry, because the industry works in such a way that they don't make it
They
public.
wouldn't,
So people who don't know, like why meat is so bad, I sympathize with them. I used to be like that.
But even after knowing it, then there's
even like restaurant owners, like even butchers, and like those people are just they're just doing their job.
Sure.
I think what needs to change is education. They need to be educated, and the less demand there is. What you've seen with dairy milk in the past 2 years, so many dairy companies have gone bankrupt because of oat milk rising, soy milk rising. These products are much cheaper, use less resources to produce. Even now in shops, alternate milk is cheaper than whole milk, for sure.
Wow.
You can get soy milk for $1.50.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. Yeah.
You can get almond milk. The cheapest one is like $2.
What do you think about? Okay, so there's like the second argument. Usually, what people talk about is, if you're talking about the way the normal milk is produced, right? Or even just meat production happens. Let's say you find a replacement. Sometimes it could be avocado, for example.
Avocado,
Yeah. For avocado, there's, I think, lots of honey bees that are required to have the way it's produced. I'm not like 100% on this, but it's the way it's produced requires a lot of honey, and then you sort of still you do end up doing the same thing, same impact, right? Let's say, for example, you say it's harming the environment, but if you're like, if there's a lot more meat production or a lot more cows getting killed in general, it's harming the environment and across the board. But then, for example, if you're ordering a special vegan food item, right, from one place to another, the cost of like transporting from one place to another, the impact that it produces, let's say airplane cost and all of that, it turns out to be the same. So on a higher level, if you just balance it out, sure, I mean, from an animal perspective, it's terrible, but it does affect in other ways that it's not apparent to you at this point, but at some point it will emerge. What do you think about that?
I think that's, a lot of people, even that's the first argument that I ask myself, because to make, like you said, to make avocados and a lot more, most plants, most plant-based foods requires a lot of killing, a lot of mice getting killed in the process, a lot of insects getting killed, a lot of little animals getting killed, just to make plant-based foods. And I thought, like veganism is all about non-violence, and just to make vegan food, we're killing so many animals.
Exactly.
So it's like a double standard, right? It's like it just makes no sense. You're saying this, and then you're eating food that's made from violence.
It's just not apparent to you at that point, but it's again an indirect.
Exactly. And then when I found out about it, I was like, fuck, like I'm still killing insects. I'm still killing animals. Even like you said, avocados, you transport avocados. They say veganism is good for the environment, pollutes less. but then to fly it from one place of the world to another requires a lot of money, and you're still harming the environment.
Yeah.
But then what I found out, crops are killed, insects are killed to make vegan food. But veganism is about reducing cruelty, not getting rid of it. You can't completely eradicate cruelty. There's always going to be cruelty to make things. That's just how the world is set up. But another thing is, insects are killed to make. A lot of people bring up the point, like, don't you care about the plants? Even killing plants. Like, plants have feelings as well.
Yeah, living beings.
But
They're just not expressive as much.
Exactly. The thing is, to feed cows that give milk, dairy cows, to feed these animals that are later killed for meat, they eat more plants, they require more plants than humans ever do. I think it's many, many times over. They eat the resources that they need as food. 80% of all agricultural land in this world, 70 to 80%, is used to grow food to feed animals that we kill and eat.
Right.
So we do kill insects and animals, but the insects and animals that are killed in the process to make food for the meat animals is way more. I think it's like 7 times more insects and animals are killed to make food, to make meat, than for vegan food. So even if you do care about insects' lives and plants' lives, maybe if you do believe plants have feelings, even if you do believe that, it makes sense to go vegan because you're still killing a lot less plants and insects and animals compared to eating meat or even drinking from.
So it's sort of going towards a better.
Yeah, it's all about harm reducing.
Yeah.
Nothing is zero harm, but one thing is 7 times less harm than the other thing, and that's veganism. You always
makes sense.
Yeah,
makes sense.
And maybe over time with technology we can reduce the amount of harm that we're causing to create that food. But even when in terms of like I said, 80% of all land is used to grow food for animals.
Yeah.
That still requires a lot of resources to carry from one part of the world to another. Like in China, a lot of the land there is used to grow soy.
Yeah.
To feed animals, not for humans. So a lot of airplane costs, a lot of environmental pollution is caused there. Way more than to transport avocados.
Yeah.
Because it just makes sense. A lot more people eat meat and dairy than they eat avocados every day.
Right. Okay. That's interesting. Wow. I've never thought of it that way.
How does it make you feel that now that you know that?
Yeah.
Well, what does it make you? How does that make you feel?
Well, it definitely clears some of the doubts that I had previously.
Yeah.
And yeah, definitely clears my mind out about things in general. There's one last thing I feel like, which again is like sort of the other side's argument against going, which is, what if like evolutionary we were eating meat before, like the warriors and all the kings, and it was very common in most of the cultures around, except for like few, and all of them sort of, at least what the science says is we were sort of meant for eating a lot of meat in general.
Yeah.
And that this is against vegetarian diet as well, like in general. So not just vegan, but that's why we've got our teeth in general, which is like that shape, which helps us digest that sort of food. Even our intestines are made for, or else we wouldn't evolve to digest this sort of meat-based food, right? So it's part of our genetics that, and if you are going vegan, you're going against it. What do you think about that?
I think that is interesting. Like I used to think that as well. We have sharp teeth. It makes sense that we eat meat. We can process meat.
Yeah.
And it is true that we've evolved to process meat in our stomach. But when people bring up the teeth argument, we have, I forgot what it's called, but these two front sharp teeth, right?
Right.
To bite into meat.
Yeah.
I looked into it, and which animal has, the largest canine teeth? I think canine tooth is what they call it. The largest canine tooth in, like, which animal has the biggest in the world?
Right.
Can you guess, like, which animal it is?
Elephant.
Elephant.
No.
It's a hippopotamus. They have the
Right.
biggest like canine tooth, and they are, herbivores. They're vegetarian. So we have these teeth to bite into fruit.
Yeah.
Even our hands, the way our hands have evolved, to peel fruit, to eat,
Oh, wow. That's
Um,
interesting.
to eat fruit and vegetables, not for meat. And we have evolved to process meat, but meat is still not fully.
Right.
Like heart disease is still the leading cause of death in
Yeah.
the world, and the biggest cause of heart disease is meat.
Yeah.
So we haven't
Wow.
fully evolved.
Yeah.
The way that we have evolved is to eat from a whole food plant-based diet. Because especially in South Asia, a lot of people are lactose intolerant because they haven't evolved to drink milk. We are the only animal in the entire world who still drinks milk after a certain age. No other animal in the world drinks milk after, a certain age. Babies. It's just humans. And we're the only animal that drinks it from another animal. Why? A lot of people are lactose intolerant because they can't process the milk. And
That's interesting. I haven't heard of that before, or even thought of it.
So we haven't evolved to eat meat. Our teeth was designed to bite into fruit. Our hands are designed to peel fruit, peel bananas,
Wow.
Yeah. And
That's crazy.
and warriors, even Indian warriors, I don't know where this thought came from, but I was talking to a activist in India called Arvind, animal activist.
Right.
You've probably seen his videos. He's really
Yeah, I've seen him.
popular. I did a podcast with him before I interviewed him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and one point he brought up that I didn't know.
Yeah.
This whole myth that ancient Indian warriors used to eat meat and stuff. 99% of their diets
Yeah.
were whole foods plant-based. They would eat meat very rarely.
Rarely.
Most of
Oh.
the warriors' foods, dal, rice, like staple meals.
Seriously.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there's this common notion that,
It's a misconception. I don't know where it comes from.
yeah,
Because it was cheaper to feed so many warriors,
to
like whole foods plant-based meat was a luxury back then.
right.
And it just made sense to feed them, whole foods plant-based diet. They got all the nutrients that they needed.
Yeah.
A lot of South Indian food now is majority vegan.
Oh, that's for sure. That's for sure. Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
lighter on your stomach
Exactly.
as well.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I think that was probably it in terms of like the blockers sort of that would. I get the moral side for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And anyone would, right? Anyone who loves, loves Earth and
Exactly.
people around.
So has this sort of the main reason that that I wanted to do this was
Yeah.
to just clear up anything that you had in your mind.
Yeah.
And does this sort of make you think, like think back to what veganism is and has it sort of made you think about that at all? Like what?
For sure. Yeah.
Where
I mean,
it's coming from?
there's if the philosophy is clear in your head, and that's how I think of it in general. Like if there's anything, like if I believe in something, then I believe in something, then you do it, right? That'd be just cruel if you believe in something and you do something else, and then once you're convinced enough about something, then you can do it. I think there's like lots of misconceptions around.
I think a lot of people are already like, you don't support animal cruelty, right? Like the videos that you see on internet on how meat and dairy.
It's hard
makes
to
you
watch
sick.
as well.
Exactly.
So-
You don't support it, right? Like you're against it.
Yeah.
And most people are, like majority of the people are. That's just that you're halfway becoming vegan.
Yeah.
The other half is morally being consistent
Yeah.
with what you think. If you're against animal cruelty, then don't support it with your money. That's the whole cause of veganism. Even animals, a lot of people say, oh, I love animals. But then they eat animals. So it's just that moral consistency.
Then what is, let's say, what about just like people say like just emotions, right? Like
Yeah.
how do you feel now? It's been 5 years
Yeah.
you're vegan?
4 years.
4 years? 4 years. Sure. Now, although let's say practical reasons are there, like you're convinced that this is the wrong thing. Sometimes people just give like bland arguments, right? Like, I just love it.
Yeah.
You know, it is like, it's one life. I just want to live it.
They do. And it's sad, bro, because like some of the smartest people that I know,
Yeah.
and they are really intelligent. When it comes to veganism, they become so fucking dumb.
Yeah.
You know, like they're smart, they're so smart. And on everything else, when it comes to veganism, they give the dumbest argument. Or like, I love meat.
Why is that?
It's because Arvind talked about this as well, and he made a really good point. People don't want to hear bad things about their good habits. So people always want to hear good things about their habits. People never want to hear bad things about their habits. And food is one of the most personal things there are.
Yeah.
So if you've been eating meat your whole life, someone comes up to you, tells you that's wrong, you're causing animal cruelty, no one's gonna be like, oh, I am. No, everyone's gonna be like, no, what the fuck? Who are you to tell me that? No, I've been doing it for. It's a natural human tendency to be defensive.
Yeah.
Which is why
instead of like reflecting.
My thing is education. So like I've told you about the meat and dairy industry, and I hope this makes you think. But yeah, I feel like in the future, people will look back and be like, I can't believe we ate meat and dairy for as long as we did. Because it's cruelty. It's cruel.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it does make me reflect for sure, I would say, on, you know, the choices that you make daily. There's always this choice that you make between like pleasure and the sacrifices you're willing to do.
Think about it. Like, when you drink milk, you get maybe 10, 15 seconds of taste bud pleasure. That's not worth the amount of cows that are slaughtered for you to drink that milk. And those cows are only getting slaughtered because you're paying for that to happen. You know, just by switching to almond milk or oat milk, and I think being vegan is one of the easiest things to do because that's the easiest form of activism. We're not asking you to go and like, you know, protest on the streets. Just instead of choosing the cruel product, choose the cruelty-free product. That's all it is.
Yeah, for sure.
Instead of milk, choose plant-based milk.
That's for sure. I mean, like, if there is an option available, I think I would at least clearly choose something like that.
So yeah, man, I hope, you know, this conversation sort of makes you think about the choices. And that's all I wanted to do. I didn't want you to go vegan overnight or anything, just make you think.
Yeah.
Because it's a process. And like when I went vegan, it wasn't an overnight thing, but it started off, you know, like for me being educated, learning more and more. And that's all I want you to do is to think about the choices you make. Now that you know about the dairy industry, how it's worse than the meat industry, you know, it's easier for you compared to someone who eats meat and dairy.
Yeah.
It's much easier for you because all you have to do is give up one thing, which is milk.
Yeah, for sure.
That's all it is, just giving up milk. And it's good because you haven't eaten meat in your life. You don't like meat.
Yeah.
So it's just giving up one thing that puts you're not supporting any form of animal cruelty.
That's for sure. I mean, yeah, we always sort of strive to be better humans, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's just one of the things to become better, I guess.
Yeah.
And I hope, like, you know, the notion behind veganism, which is a bit sad, like nowadays it's become a bit, you know, there's like an entire character of a vegan person.
Yeah.
Which is not necessarily always in a positive, looked after in a positive light. And I hope that sort of fades away and, you know, the true sense of what it is meant to be.
Exactly, because it comes down to people, they don't want to hear bad things about the things that they do. It's defensive. People are defensive. People don't want to know about the meat industry.